Welcome, everybody, to the Level Up Lifestyle Podcast, where we promote self-responsibility, championship mindset, contributing to others, getting ahead in life, and never playing the victim. We are here to get to the highest levels possible by taking charge of our lives. If that's you, welcome to the podcast. Let's get this episode started. All right, so we just got done with the 4x4x48 challenge, and that's what I want to talk about on today's podcast. It was quite the challenge. I went into it not nearly as prepared as I expected to or I wanted to. And, life happens. Things came up. A lot of it was work related. And things come up. And sometimes you don't get to go into things as ready as you want to be. But when you set a strong commitment to something first, you're going to start it. You've got to start it. And you've got to put yourself in a position that, even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't feel as prepared as you would like to be, you still got to give it a shot. And when you go into it 110%. And, doing some of these ultra races and some of the things that I intentionally get into push myself, I really go into it with a hell of a lot of respect that it's going to be very difficult. I don't expect the things that I do to be easy, no matter how much I train. No matter how hard you train, no matter how hard you're prepared or how prepared you think you are, you're not always, you're almost never actually going to be fully prepared to go through one of these events just coasting. I have yet to do any event like an ultra race or at that level where I trained enough for it not to be hard. You just can't train that hard. And this one in particular, this 4x4x48, I actually went into this one thinking I'm underprepared. And that can't stop you from going all in, because even though I felt that way going into it, even though I even shot a video the night before and the morning before saying, hey, I'm not fully prepared. There's no guarantee that this is going to be finished. I'm just going to do my best. But the truth is, as soon as you start, all of that shit goes right out the window. All of that, am I good enough? All of that, am I prepared enough? All of that stuff goes out the window, and it turns into nothing is going to stop this from happening. Short of death, I will succeed. This is in a lot of my lessons, and it's okay to be fearful before. It's okay to feel underprepared. No matter how much you prepare, you got to honor and respect how hard some of these things are going to be. But once you start, once you get in the game, once the race starts, once you're committed and the beginning of your commitment, you've got to learn in your mind to engage, to failure is not an option. And there were so many lessons throughout the race, and I want to kind of go over those. I shot a lot of them in the moment. I took a couple of notes, and I want to share those on this podcast. Everyone right now, I'm getting a lot of texts and emails like, why are you responding to me? Aren't you napping? Aren't you, resting up? No, I'm not. I'm grinding today. I'm working. I'm editing. I'm shooting podcasts. I have things to do, and I talk about this a lot. This is not one of the things on my list, but when you have purpose, when you have things that you're excited about, when you're on a mission, my mission is to help as many people as possible in general, but in particular, the merchant sales industry. And that fuels me. Okay, am I sore today? Yeah, hell yeah. Am I a little tired today? I thought I'd be more tired, but I'm really freaking driven. I'm really freaking motivated right now. And that's why I pulled out the mic and said, I'm shooting this right now. I've got things on my chest. I'm fired up and I want to get them off my chest. So who cares? The last 48 hours, I didn't sleep a whole lot and I ran 48 miles, but the purpose behind this podcast, the purpose on these videos fuels me enough to get up and not take a nap, and I'm not laying down because I've got things that I'm excited about that I want to share. So the first note that I put here, in particular to merchant sales, it really is about one door at a time. I talk about don't focus on 100 deals. Don't focus on 20 deals. Don't even focus on 2 deals. Don't even focus on 1 deal. Like, I don't need it. Just focus on the next door. Focus on the next opportunity. And as I was running, I wasn't overly focused on, all right, this round is 4 miles. I got to finish this round. I wasn't even really focused on, all right, I just got to knock down 1 more mile. It was more about, I would set a benchmark. A lot of it I was running on the channel by my house. Beautiful spot. It's next to the road, channel, water, really pretty. And there's these light poles. And I would set a benchmark on, all right, at that light pole way up there, is where I'm going to allow myself to rest. And resting was walking. And boom, once I get to that light pole, I'd walk a little bit, and then the next step, all right, I'm going to walk to that sign up there, and then I'll set my next benchmark. And it really was, the whole challenge wasn't running 48 miles. It was about setting that next benchmark, getting to it, allowing myself to rest for a second, and then focus on the next one. And when it comes to sales, it really is about one door at a time. Don't focus 10 doors down the way. Don't focus on, what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Focus on the next door, the next opportunity, the next appointment that you're running. Okay? You can make tremendous distance by focusing one step at a time. And that's how you build your business. By focusing on one door at a time that will lead to one prospect at a time. And over time, so when I did my run, it was over 48 hours you made the distance. With your business, if you focus on one door at a time, that's how you build this long term. That's how you run the 48 miles. If that was the business that you're building, you don't do it all at once. You've got to focus on small bites. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The next note that I have here, this is fucking hard. Okay? There's gonna be days where you want to quit. You may find yourself in internal pain from, it might be rejection that you're getting in the field. It might be from failures. There was opportunities that you had that you failed. The only way to get this done is to plow forward through all that stuff. Folks, this isn't easy. Building a monstrous, extraordinary life is not easy. Whether you were born with a silver spoon or whether you were born poor and have to earn it, it doesn't matter what you started with. We are responsible for what we get out of this life. And to level up and to live an extraordinary life and provide for your family and to live the life that you dream about, it's gonna be freaking hard, and there's gonna be days where you want to quit. I go through this all the time to this day. So there's days where you question if what you're doing is working. There's days where you question if it's gonna be worth it, or am I even making progress? And you'll question, your mind is gonna convince you at some point that it's okay to quit. But you've got to plow forward. You've got to go through all that stuff. Your mind is going to try to stop you. You've got to recognize it. And just know that that's normal. The day will come if you keep plowing forward where you reach that next benchmark. You get the next reward. It'll rejuvenate you. You take a little breather and then you go do it again with motivation and momentum on your side. Okay, the next thing I have on my list here, this is a big one. No one can do this for you. No one can do this for you. Whether we're talking about building a merchant sales business, whether we're talking about building an amazing family, whether we're talking about getting fit, whatever it is that you're working on in your life, nobody is coming to save you. No one is coming to do it for you. You signed up for it. I want you to think about that. You signed up for this. And if you got into it thinking it was just going to be a walk in the park, then that's on you. That's your fault. But if you're committed to this, if you know that you have to do whatever it takes to make this work, then you've got to fully take on the responsibility. You've got to be self-responsible, self-reliant, self-driven to get your butt up and realize that no one is going to finish this challenge for you. I talk about it especially on that second night. The second night, I had to do a 12 a.m. round, so 4 miles at 12 a.m. That one was really tough to wake up for. I'm pretty sleep deprived, and the 12 a.m. one was really tough. It was really gratifying at the end of that one. But that 4 a.m. one was one of the hardest mornings I ever had in my life. Not physically necessarily, although I was pretty sore at that point, but it was so hard for me to get out of bed. My mind did not want to get up. That was one of the proudest things I've done in terms of overcoming my own mind. And I remember thinking to myself, the only way this is going to get done is to get the hell up and get it done. The only way you're going to get back into this bed here at 4 a.m, you've already ran, 30 miles. You're on no sleep. The only way this challenge is going to finish completed is if you get your butt up and you do it, because no matter how bad it sucks, no matter how bad you want to sit in this bed, nobody can get up out of this bed for you. No one can go put those 4 miles in for you. Nobody's coming to help you. And there's only one person in this whole freaking planet that can complete this challenge. There's only one person in your business that can grow your business. And that's you. No one's coming to do it for you. Next bullet that I put, only the committed make it long term. Your level of commitment is established before the race starts, not after. That's huge. That applies to everything. I remember when I first got into this business, I was living in Florida, got a call from Anthony Smith, great friend, one of the best in the business. Some of you might even work with Anthony. So grateful to Anthony. Thanks for the call, Anthony, man. Changed my life, get me into this business. But when he called me, I was living in Florida. I was living in my dream spot. For years, I had wanted to live in Florida. And he called me and told me about the opportunity of merchant sales. And, you know, I did some homework on it, and there's residual income. I could go anywhere in the United States, which for me, I travel a lot, so that's very, very important. He said, hey, man, if you move back to Seattle, I'm opening an office. We'll teach you the business, and then you can go open an office wherever you want. I sold all of my stuff. At that time, it was a motorcycle and just some stuff. I was in my late 20s, mid 20s. Sold all my stuff, and I can go back to my goals from when I first started this business, and the commitment that this industry was absolutely going to change my life was set in stone long before the industry ever changed my life. When I get into one of these races, whether it's an ultra Spartan race or whether it's this 4x4x48 challenge, I kind of talked about this at the beginning. Once it's set, once I make that commitment, and I let people know what I'm doing because I want that commitment to be that much more in stone, it's on. It has to happen. I don't commit and get into something after I start it. That commitment is made long before. And like I said at the beginning of this, by the time that race starts, there's a switch that turns on. It's like, short of death, this is gonna fucking happen. And there ain't nothing other than me dying that can stop it. And that is commitment. That commitment isn't set once the gun goes off. That's not set once you sign your first deal. It's not set once you see your first residual check. It's not set when you cross the finish line of a 32 or 48 mile run. You make the commitment before. You've got to know beforehand that at all costs, this is what I'm doing. No matter how trained I am, no matter how prepared I am, no matter the obstacles that come up, no matter how bad I want to stay in my bed at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, no matter how many people reject me, no matter how many times I fail and I mess up and I say something that messes up the deal, I'm going to learn from it, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to build my freaking business. I'm going to cross the finish line. That commitment isn't made in the middle of building your business, in the middle of a race. You have to establish your commitment in stone before you get into it. That's what stops you from quitting. Okay? Next thing on my list here, perfect with what I'm talking about. Motivation is bullshit. Okay? Motivation doesn't finish these races. Motivation doesn't build your business for you. Motivation is great. When you have it, that's momentum. Use it. You're jacked up. But it goes away. It comes. It goes. There's things that happen. You go, it's a roller coaster. You're going up, you're going down. When you're up, you have motivation. Fucking great. Use it. When you're down and motivation is gone, you've still got to plow forward. So when you want to quit, it's your level of commitment that is going to keep you going, not motivation. Set that commitment so strong. Attach it to a why. That's what will keep you going. That's what will help you build this business. That's what will help you finish an ultra race at any level. And then when it's said and done, the last thing that I want to share here is the gratification you receive from accomplishing the goal far outweighs the pain and the struggles. The day after these races, if you've seen one of my Ultra Spartan videos at the end, I'm dangling a medal. I'm like, man, it feels so good to have this medal around my neck. A lot of people quit. They don't have it. Well, this 4x4x48 I just did, I don't even have a medal to show for. I ordered a shirt. I don't even have it yet. I did it surely out of commitment. Not even a medal at the end of it, but the gratification inside of me far outweighs the struggles that I went through. That 4 o'clock in the morning, that, man, I can't even put into words how tired I was. My legs were stiff. And those are the opportunities. Those are the challenges that I sign up for these for. I want to put my mind in that position because that gives me the opportunity to overcome something so freaking hard. And when it's done and you look back on it, the gratification far outweighs the pain and the struggles. And those are just some of the things I wrote down. There's so many more lessons that are actually in the videos of the 4x4x48 challenge. I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted to turn this mic on. I felt fired up and I wanted to share this stuff with you. I really just shot off the hip. I made a couple of small bullet points and I hope that I hit them on the head. And I hope that you put yourself into some position that's really worth the reward. Okay, if you're working with us and you're in the merchant sales industry, it is worth the reward. You're talking about financial freedom. Whether you have a family or whether you're single or whatever your situation is, to have reoccurring money that comes every single month is such a reward. It allows you to unlock your life, right? And I used to think, this is totally a side note, I used to think, oh, when I have a bunch of residual income, I'm just going to travel. I'm going to be sitting in cabanas and sitting on the beach and all that stuff. And maybe I would, but since then, since those visions, 3 kids come along, you have a family, and you can use your time freedom for whatever you want. I want to use mine to go on vacations with my family as much as possible. But with 3 kids in school, guess what? I've chosen to take owning my life and that time freedom that I have. And I do shit like this 4x4x48. I'm probably working harder now financially free than I ever had to when I was building my business. And I worked freaking hard. But I am pumping harder now with my financial freedom. And the reward for you when you own your life is you're going to get to do whatever you want. Maybe you will live under cabanas and on vacation 365 days a year. I hope that if that's your goal, I hope that's what you do. But between where you're at now and where you're going to be when you own your life, financial freedom is going to allow you to do whatever the heck you want to do. That's what I've got for you. That's what I wanted to share on today's podcast. I hope that resonates with you. I appreciate all the people that supported it. The donations are still open. We're raising money for youth sports. The donations are still open. So check the YouTube video. Check the podcast description. I will put a link in there if anyone wants to contribute. I was raising money to contribute to families who can't afford youth sports and their kids want to. That was something that was important to me. When I was a kid, I wanted to play sports. We didn't have the funds to do it. It's too many kids. And I couldn't play until high school when there was no cost for it. And I love who I became from the situation of how I was raised. But had I been put in sports, it probably would have saved me some struggles along the way and kept me out of some of the trouble that I got myself into. And it's just so important in today's day and age. So if you would, please consider making a contribution while it's still open. 100% of it goes towards a good cause. I hope this has been inspirational. I hope this has been helpful for many of you out there. Go put yourself in a position to do something really hard. And I hope that you one day feel the gratification and the sense of reward, knowing that you pushed through those struggles, pushed your boundaries, and did everything that was within you to accomplish something really hard. It is worth it. I feel really good today, even medal or no medal. I did it. And I encourage you to go find something really hard to do too. See you at the top, guys. I'm out. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode here. Donations are still open. I want to invite you to go to www.leveluplife.co. So that's www.leveluplife.co. Make a contribution. It goes towards youth sports. I put in a lot of work on my end, and I appreciate the support on your end with a financial contribution. If it's within your realm of possibilities, thank you very much ahead of time. We will see you at the top, and we'll see you on the next episode.